Welcome to my American History Notes, where I discuss the conclusions I've drawn from studying American history. You may not agree with all my conclusions or any of my conclusions, but you do need to know about these things, events, concepts, people, and places. So we're going to begin here. The prohibition of excessive bail or cruel and unusual punishment was from the English Bill of Rights of 1689 that came after England's Glorious Revolution. These rights were valid because they were not only drawn from American and English experience, but from ancient natural law, the belief in Western civilization that laws must have a divine sanction. You can't separate a belief in the supreme deity as the underwriter of all our rights from our legal heritage without undermining all rights as being merely something those in power, quote, let us have. Blackstone, the English legal writer and scholar whom all Americans were familiar with, made it clear that laws ultimately came from God Himself, and all of our obligations were secondary to our obligation to Him. These laws, these rights became the basis of the American constitutional system. The other states followed Virginia's Bill of Rights, with Pennsylvania making its freedom of religion clause stronger and adding freedom of speech to the freedom of the press, protected conscientious objectors from military service, and gave foreign born people of good character the right to buy land and become citizens. The Massachusetts Declaration of Rights, claiming that all men were born free and equal, was understood by the courts to mean that slavery was to be abolished, and as a separation of powers between the legislative, judicial, and executive branches was to be enjoined. James Madison was very conscious of the importance of government's acknowledgement of basic God given rights. In his writings, published by the Library of America, he says in his memorial and remonstrance against religious assessments, he says about freedom of religion that man's duty to the Creator is above his duty to civil society and cannot be the subject of legislation. He noted in his Federalist number 51 that the large number of religious sects help guarantee religious liberty as no single sect can take control. He explained the difference between a republic and a democracy in Federalist number 14. In a democracy, people meet and exercise the government in person, while in a republic, they assemble and administer it by their representatives. A democracy, therefore, must be confined to a small spot like a town council, while a republic can be extended over a large region. He also stated that government is instituted to protect property. He states, quote, this being the end of government, that alone is a just government, which impartially secures to every man whatever is his own. In the same discourse, he states that the conscience is the most sacred of all property, and he believed in freedom of conscience. The understanding of, quote, pursuit of happiness in the Declaration of Independence and from George Mason's Virginia Declaration of Rights is argued by several to mean specifically the right to the happiness gained by buying and enjoying one's property. This would have included slavery at the time. But as I've said before, America is a work in progress, and rights promised were often delayed in being rights apparent and in practice. This idea would eventually be extended to include all men and women, no matter what color or background. All right, so we're going to continue next time. About talking about Locke and about this idea that they got the three separation of powers from the Bible. We're going to discuss that next. All right. I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you for watching.